After the Pale Heart invasion, the Guardian meets with allies of old. We've talked about Savathun recently, but today we dive into the story of the Hollow's quest with MITHRAX. We get more backstory on his mother and pirate days, House Salvation's interest in paracausal power, and confront one of his oldest enemies, now a vessel for the Witness. Eido and Spider also discuss the current plans of House Salvation. House Salvation is in the Pale Heart. A bunch of our enemies are. It's nice to fight a variety of them, but the darkness worshipping Elixni make a return. Heading in with our House of Light ally, MITHRAX, your Guardian's job is to find out why. House Salvation is interested in paracausal energy flowing through the tree in the blooming, a combination of light and darkness. It appears they're using fallen tech and pyramid technology to their advantage together. MITHRAX compares this to Scorn witchcraft. It seems this ragtag group of fallen are desperate after the events of Seraph and Aramis's departure. We harvest light and dark and force it into the machines to open the way to the root of the tree. And in the roots we find an Elixni Korra. Turns out MITHRAX knows this Korra, but they disappear before we get a chance to kill them.
Guardian, we received a report from Crow that House Salvation are converging on the cradle.
House Salvation is fractured. The devoted here cannot be swayed from the Witness's command.
MITHRAX, I can hear the Traveler calling out in pain. Whatever House Salvation is doing, it ends now.
Guardian, a mobile data center lies ahead. It appears to be shielded with a power source near your location. Dismantle their defenses, and I will splice into House Salvation's communications. Together, we will reveal House Salvation's intentions. This is not what I expected. House Salvation are trying to tap into the root of paracausal power here.
The tree.
According to their data, the tree regulates paracausal energy flowing through it, both light and dark.
It appears they're mapping that flow through the Traveler, looking for vulnerable points.
I've got a copy of the data. Let's move. MITHRAX, if I'm reading this data correctly, it looks like we need to get below the tree, to its root system.
House Salvation has erected barriers preventing entry, but their power sources are remote. This technology... it is a hybrid of Elixni and pyramid design. It carries no spirit, like Scorncraft. It can be disabled, but the interface is unfamiliar to me. The splice will require time. These machines operate by harvesting paracausal energy. Some utilize light, others darkness.
We've seen tech like this before. It's only ever designed to handle one polarity of paracausal energy. Harvest their energy and force it into the machines.
I know this Elixni. It's not possible.
MITHRAX?
By your light, bring them to justice, Guardian. Vanished. The coward has fled.
MITHRAX, who was that?
A shadow of my shameful life, stretching out from the past to chase me.
Don't let it rattle you. We've restored the tree's energy flow and kept it out of the enemy's hands. But we can't leave an enemy operative unaccounted for.
Agreed. I propose my House Salvation contacts work alongside your agents. We will hunt this foe together. Elixni, like that captain, have forgotten themselves. After millennia adrift, abandoned, they step within the great machine and choose to despoil this sacred place in service to the one who caused the whirlwind. They must be brought to
In Hollows Part 2, we head to Europa to follow House Salvation to their stronghold, where we find Korra rallying the troops, planning for a second attack on the tree inside the Pale Heart. It's here where we get some more backstory. Ikora tells us that Korra was a leader alongside Aramis in House Salvation back in Seraph and maybe even Beyond Light, but mainly in Seraph when they were trying to overtake the Seraph station. As we know, after the events, Aramis fled. She left the darkness and following the Witness behind to go elsewhere. But Korra seemed to remain with Salvation and follow the plans of the Witness, turning from one of Aramis's most trusted leaders into a hallowed vessel to do the bidding of the Witness. Long before that though, MITHRAX used to be a pirate and ran with his own crew. His mother Enax brought him to Sol System, and turns out Korra was a member of the House of Winter and was responsible for killing MITHRAX'S mother. He later joined Salvation and followed Aramis in the darkness, and here we are now, still working for those forces of darkness. In the final boss room, the Guardian and MITHRAX kill Korra, and MITHRAX gets his revenge.
Guardian, my Hidden have turned up some information on the captain who fled the tree. His name is Korra. He was Aramis's right hand until we retook Seraph Station. After our last meeting, my agents tracked him to Europa. They're rallying a counterattack to retake the tree. We can't risk a setback at this stage in our operation.
Korra does not deserve the rank of captain. Let us do what I should have done long ago.
Long ago? We're with you, MITHRAX. Hopefully we can stop him before he draws any more elixir into this fight.
A small suffering for the promise of Reese Reborn can be intoxicating.
That's what the Witness's philosophy does. It takes hope and twists it into a lie.
MITHRAX, this seems personal.
Yes. When I plundered with the old crews, my mother was captain. As command passed to me, she remained a specter of power. Violence aged me, and I cut ties with that life. With her. Silent years passed before I learned of a sobering truth. She was long dead, killed by Korra of the House of Winter. And for him, I will redraw my blade. I am not proud of that time, Guardians. I have tried to move beyond it, but it seems our pasts are restless beasts.
I've locked away pieces of my past as well, to protect myself and others. Youth is chaotic, but if we command that energy, mold it into something better, like you and I've done in the city.
Yes, like we will continue to do in the future.
But for now, I think we can manage a few secrets from the past.
Korra, I am MITHRAX, son of Enax, and I am your end. Do you have nothing to say for yourself? Answer me! Silence.
There wasn't much of Korra left in there. It looked more like one of the Witness's hollowed-out vessels.
I wanted him to know that MITHRAX delivered judgment upon Korra. Now, at least, it is done. Rest, Spirit of Enox. Your son has avenged you.
Put your mind at ease, Kell of Light. You can celebrate this victory. Thank you for sharing her story.
Many in House Salvation still require our aid. And this brush with my youth brings my daughter to mind. her hopes, her ambitions. There are many who would prey upon them, many who would twist her kindness.
She'll find her path, just like we have, because she has you to guide her.
I hope you guide her as well. She holds the great Ikora Ray in the highest respect.
You have my word.
House Salvation, although fractured, still bend their knee to the Witness and the darkness. Now, the events of this quest, I believe, took place before the death of the Witness, but even now, some will still follow the echoes and void left in its wake. House Salvation will persist no matter how broken and lost they are. Just last season in the Nostos card, we got an update on Aramis, how she refueled her catch on Europa and just left. Her destination, their homeworld Reese, to try and find her family, give up on the Witness and see what remained before the end. In a new card, Faithkeeper, Eido and the Spider discuss what she left behind and how House Salvation continues. Eido starts, "Now's not a good time." Spider, "I don't care. I know what you're up to. You're not covering your tracks and the Vanguard won't like you looking into Aramis's whereabouts." Well, I can't imagine the Vanguard would like what you're doing either. Shall I tell them? "Huh, is this your first blackmail? Very sloppy little scribe. Come now, we're past this. You know I have your best interests at heart." "I don't believe... That's not my problem. Why are you looking for Aramis? I've told you she isn't listening." Aramis Kell has lost a great deal of support. Yes, her house is in shambles. What else? I had hoped... This again. I had hoped... She's gone, for good this time. No house, no witness. And from what I hear, even Xivu Arath has given up on her. That's precisely why... Do you know your father talked to me about this obsession of yours? He wants this to stop, but he also knows you won't listen to him. What? But she saved his life. And the debt is paid. Give up, Eido. It's pathetic. She doesn't care about you. She never has. I didn't... You might not see the good in people, but I do, and I will never give that up. I don't want to live in a world where no one can change and nothing can get better. Aramis needs to know that, and I won't stop trying to tell her. And that's the end of the card. So ever since the events of Seasonal Plunder, when Aramis and MITHRAX had that battle and Eido witnessed it all, she's been studying Aramis and trying to reach out to her. She even did in a terminal entry back then. But this confirms that House Salvation is broken, their leader is gone, and might hint at some future events, maybe in the next Fallen episode.
These pirates sought to possess the relics of Nezarec. What else might they hold?
Scribe Eido.
Aramis Kell? I greet you in the light.
You are young and honor the old ways. So I will speak gently. You say there are paths that never end. But these are also paths you cannot turn away from. MITHRAX thinks he can. He is wrong. He and I will always be what we are. But we are not something you would wish to become. I remember the whirlwind, and we are running from it. We are running from that pain, and will be forever. You do not want this life.
Aramis.
Do not stand in my way. If we meet again, I will be the last thing you see. You and that hypocrite you call a father.
Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.